So now it should be on there. You refresh. So that's what you want to share. There you go. Hi friends, we'll get started here shortly. Just give us a moment. Hi TikTok people. Appreciate you guys popping on.
Select the page.
So share it to your personal if you haven't done that already. All right.
Okay, so I posted it on my wall. Now how do I post it to my more options?
Hold on.
Back. Share. To a pages story. Huh.
Your thing does not like any of us, huh?
Is it saying I don't have a page?
It's okay. Let's just copy the link. Copy URL, and then
Go to my page?
Yep, go to your page. Or like a login as like Scattered
Yeah.
Wings or whatever. And then I'm also going to share this to Lit. Because that's where we met.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get started here in 1 minute. I'll let you know what's kind of going on. Give us a little bit of time here. We're sharing the live everywhere. Okay.
You're so cute.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. I try.
You don't have to.
I don't have to try that. Thanks. Sometimes I feel like I have to. Come join us. Hey, for everybody who just joined. We'll get started here in a moment. Like always, right now we're just sharing the live and we'll get it going here shortly. I'm so excited.
I think I got it.
Good job. I'm still sharing the places.
Yay!
I'm probably gonna sneeze. I feel one coming on. It's gonna be awful, guys.
Just hide the mic.
I know. Like, I have to protect you guys at all costs, your ears. Okay. I got one more share, and then it's 3 o'clock, and we'll get started. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So, hi, Rosa. Rosa's on watching.
Hey girl! Hola!
So, for those of you who have never watched one of these lives before, welcome to my talk show. It's called Life, Love, and Real Estate, and I absolutely love what I do. My name is Miranda Taylor. I am a real estate agent with Kelly Realty here in Omaha, and I decided that I wanted to start a talk show to talk about things that I care about, like mental health, our community issues, all sorts of stuff that affect Omaha, and also obviously real estate, because I'm a real estate agent and everybody has a trashy real estate story, so why not have a platform that we can express and talk about it on. Also, I am very passionate about a lot of things, and this gives me an opportunity to not just talk about real estate, but talk about a lot of the things that I'm actually really passionate about and have a little bit of knowledge about. So, without further ado, welcome to the talk show.
Hey.
This is Lindsay, and I'm so excited for her to be on. Lindsay and I met probably, about a year ago maybe? A little under a year ago? You bought a shirt from me because I made a bunch of them from the Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
I have this shirt that says a bunch of like mantras and sayings on it, like I'm powerful, I'm beautiful, that kind of thing. And she purchased one, and we just got to talking when I dropped it off, and we just had really good conversations. And she's a business owner, so I will let Lindsay explain herself. She's a wonderful human, and I love her.
Well, thank you, Miranda. I will start off by saying I just adore you. And if I could use this hour to talk about how amazing you are, I would, but you would get mad at me.
Don't do that.
But as she said, about a year ago, it was a Christmas party for Lit, a group that we're both a part of, and I think that some of you might be watching. But her gift was bought over. It was the gift of the white elephant exchange that just kept getting passed because even though it was a shirt and like some other little words of affirmations, and it spoke to every single one of us there. So that's why I purchased it, and that's why I stalk you on all things social media and love following you. So thank you for having me be a part of this, and just for letting me be a part of your life. It's not easy being human and sharing life. So, but we're about to do that, right?
We are.
We're about to get real human.
So you're Lindsay.
Yes,
Tell us about your business, Scattered Wings.
Okay, so my business is Scattered Wings. I put this on because I felt like I looked funny. So, but I should say I'm promoting my business. I started Scattered Wings about 2 years ago, April-ish of maybe only a year and a half ago, 2021, and it was an Etsy shop. So I was working at Metro at the time as a community engagement coordinator. I worked with an honor society called Phi Theta Kappa. We did a ton in the community, nonprofits. I am just super passionate about financial aid and just using money efficiently and bringing pieces together. So being like the conduit was the dream job. I loved my job. Unfortunately, it had some not so healthy pieces to it, and so I just started to look to art for outlets, and that's where my first piece kind of was born, which also came from my awful, what did you call it? We all have our trashy
real estate story?
Our trashy real estate story. My husband and I bought a house about 9.5 years ago. You're going to hear about this house probably a lot. But we bought it and found termites 2 weeks in and entered into a legal suit, and it was messy, and we had to gut it. We gutted our house to the studs, and fast forward, we had a lot of excess material. And if you know me, I don't like that, and I want to be sustainable and use what I have. So I kept those materials hoping to make stuff someday. And that's what my Etsy shop was started with, was my termite tiles and my termite leftover wood floors. And so yeah, fast forward April to August, I quit my job. It was one of the hardest decisions because I was working with such a phenomenal group of students, and we had just won 20 awards internationally. My fellow advisors were just amazing. If you see this, Tiffany and BJ and Taylor, it just was unreal. It was incredible. But I knew for my own health I had to step back, or something was going to be really, really terribly wrong, and I would not be sitting here next to you today. So I stepped back, even though I didn't want to, and started volunteering for Foster Love, which is, you're going to hear a lot about it, a huge passion of mine, and just the barriers and the obstacles and the trauma and the things that these children have seen and have gone through. Nobody should ever have to have that in their brain. And that's what volunteering with them morphed into, taking my Etsy shop and making it into a space where I am no longer just making things in my basement for my Etsy shop. I am inviting people in. It started as a way to bring the foster kiddos to a space that was safe and inclusive and just fun. And by making it a for-profit, I was able to then open it to the community and expand beyond foster kiddos, because all of us have trauma. I was not a foster kiddo, and I have trauma. You were not, and you have lots of trauma. And but I find art to be very therapeutic, and that's why this space was born, and every inch has a meaning, and yeah, we can talk about that as we go on.
And we will do like a whole entire tour of this place after. We're going to post it on Reels, and you'll be able to get to see what a lot of this stuff means later on. Like you were talking about the chalkboard. So every inch of this is literally covered in chalkboard. Will you explain that?
Yeah. So it has a couple double meanings, but we'll start with, when you think of black, you think of darkness, and when this was all black and dark and chalkboard paint, that's all you see is darkness, and that's what you think about. But then when you start to add what's actually being illuminated by the darkness, and so why I chose chalkboard paint is actually from my own mental health journey. I have been hospitalized 5 times since I was 20. I'm 34, so 5 times over the last 14 years. And the first 2 did not have this room. It was still just like a scream room where they would like put people in, like just let them go in that room. But my 3rd time I went, the door had been taken off, and now this room was open, and it was all black chalkboard walls. And my whole week, I was there for I think 9 days that time, 7 or 9, I can't remember. And I just drew chalk the whole time, and it was just so therapeutic. And I would invite people in to come draw with me and like play tic-tac-toe or whatever, and you could just wash it off. And so I just found a lot of peace there, and so I felt like I could bring that here. But you don't feel like you're in a hospital. Like, it feels cool and like cool. And hip and like.
And so, do you teach classes here? Okay. When are your classes and stuff?
So, because I can do like groups, like the nonprofit, I can host up to 30 people. So, I on my website, check it out. It just says by appointment only. And I say that because I will take one-on-ones, and I will take nonprofits, I'll take for-profits, I'll take networking, I'll take whoever wants to do a group luncheon, and I can adjust programming to the size or the need. I'm trained in leadership classes, like I can teach it credit at the college if I wanted to, and then I'm just trained on all things CorelDRAW, Canva. That's what all my machines that I use those programs, and I can teach those. My 5-year-old at the time, I should have some of her stuff. She learned, and she is so good. She's 7, and she makes everything. So if she can do it, I can teach anyone how to use the stuff. But yeah, so there's really no limits. I always say,
so just come in and
call me, text me, call me, beep me if you want to reach me. We don't have beepers anymore, but yes, I like to make it specific to the need of whatever.
But it's like art. So you create art, you create something here, you create something beautiful out of something broken, right?
Yes.
For those of you don't know, again, mental health is something I care about. I joke about this thing called Emerald Aptitude. I had a business, and that was the name of my business, and that is kind of like your scattered wings, which you'll have to tell them what that stands for. That's what Emerald Aptitude stood for. It stood for making something beautiful for somebody else out of something completely and utterly broken. Because of my journey with mental health and the things that I went through, it was also therapeutic, creating a business that was there to help other people, because I would create memorabilia stuff out of people's belts or clothes or things like that, and it was always a healing journey. Art in general, I feel like, is a healing journey. I draw. Anything I do for others, I do it with intent, just like you. So explain what scattered wings meant.
Oh, it can mean so many things. Even just last night, as I was thinking about it again, how thankful I am that I used the word scattered, because initially it was like I have all these skills and talents and I'm just scattered, right? Like they're all over the place. But really, like by having this business, it brings me here, right? Like it brings all the things that were scattered here. But my dream and my hope is that by being here, I can then scatter out from here and scatter things like hope and joy and peace and love and all those things. And so wings, I've always just been fascinated by butterflies. I will tell you, I'm fascinated by bees and how they pollinate and how our world would not exist without bees, even though my little girl would say she's been stung 17 times and has set a record, but we still love bees because they pollinate, and just anything that flies just fascinates us. But butterflies in particular are a miracle. They are this fat little caterpillar, and they turn into liquid, and then they come out into there's just, scientists cannot explain it. And so if like, to me, that's just like, I can't explain the transformation that's happening within me or within you right now, or maybe even somebody who's listening. But there is beauty in that transformation, and it's probably going to hurt, and it's probably going to be really gooey and gross and painful. But when things fly, they go faster. Do you take a car because you want to get to Hawaii, or do you take a plane? Like, you fly when you want to get somewhere and do something further and faster. And so for me, that's what wings are, is the beauty of transformation and just like taking things further. I will say, back to the word hope. There is a wall in here that has hope, H-O-P-E. And I am huge on acronyms. I literally just sit in my car all day trying to make acronyms out of words. And hope is like my favorite word. And so I had to have an acronym, right? I have my own business. I can make whatever I want. And I was sitting in the car one day, and the term helping others potential explode came to mind. And to me, that's hope. Like, if somebody took the time to help me see my potential so that I could like have hope, I want to do that for other people. And so if it's just showing you how to make a magnet out of a reduce, reuse, recycle tile, and you just find joy in that, like, that's what it's about for me. So
Somebody just commented that you're such a beautiful lady, by the way.
Oh, hey, Steph! We can like interact with this.
We can.
I know, this is my first one. Hey. You're beautiful. No, for real, Steph, she's legit. Keep the comments coming.
And
just kidding.
what I love about you is, you know, we all struggle, and, you know, you feel like you've struggled more than most people. Like, I joke all the time, like, my life is like a Lifetime series, not just a movie. But when I met you, one of the things that I absolutely loved is, like, we could relate on so many levels. And I love that we can just talk about it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We don't have to worry about judgment or anything like that, because we've gotten past that. We're like, in the beginning, it really sucked, and it was horrible, and everybody's going to judge us for, you know, whatever label. Like, my label is post-traumatic stress disorder and autism. Like, those kind of things, like, you don't know how much it meant to me when we had that conversation. Because I know you struggled with mental stuff, and it's hard. It's hard to talk about. It's difficult. We all go through trauma. We all go through issues. But creating something like this awesome, just be so proud of yourself.
Really, it's my safe zone. No one knows about it yet. No one knows. I just hang out here by myself in our once-a-month art class with Foster Love. But that's just because my own physical health has, like, taken a toll this year. And so I'm so excited that you're here to share it, because I want to share it. I know it has potential. No paleo words.
I could totally see, like, people coming in here and, like, doing, like, a group project for, like, a team builder. Like, if you own another small business, right, and you have a smaller team, or even, like, a team of 30, like, bring them in to do something fun. Like, you're so creative. Like, you're, like, people say I'm creative. No, I got nothing on you. You're so fantastic when it comes to that stuff, and I just think it's incredible. And yeah, you could use this for, like, team builders. You could use this for, you know, just, like, having a birthday party or something.
We had my little girl's birthday party here. It was chalk. We were throwing chalk balls at the wall. Like, we drew circles, and, like, who could get the ball, and, like, chalk balls. And then we spray painted cardboard stencils. Oh my gosh, it was just chalk everywhere. Little 6-year-olds. It was quite chaotic, but it was so fun.
And yeah, this is kind of a special episode because, like, I'm on site. You know, I'm special. Like, this is not, you're used to my fireplace and the green chairs. Well, we still have green chairs.
Oh, well played.
Thank you.
Well done.
So speaking of chairs, so she was telling me before all this that the chairs here even have something, like, super special with them, which is really cool. So, you know, no chair in here is the same chair, or, like, even close to it. They're all completely different. Why is that?
Okay, so like you said, the word intent, I feel like when I was doing this, I wanted it to have everything had intent. Like, there was intention with why I even chose that dresser to hold my door that's now my table. But the chairs has been like a dream of mine since forever. And the reason they don't match is because we don't match. And all of us are different. And some of these chairs are a little more wobbly. Some of them are broken. Some of them have pieces missing, but they still function. Some of them have fabric. Some of them are painted. Some are seen as beautiful. Some are not. But they all have purpose. And that is to support humans. A chair, that's all it does, is just, it doesn't matter if they're pretty, ugly, whatever, they just support us. And that's how I feel like we as humanity should be, that we should just be supporting one another, no matter what we think we're pretty or ugly or worth supporting or supporting someone else. We all can do it.
Self-worth is one of those things I feel like everybody struggles with because, they have something in mind of what they actually think that they need to attain, and the reality is each person is priceless, and they're worth it.
Yeah.
They're worth whatever amount that they want to be worth.
Yeah. And
I think that is such a beautiful thing that you created here and in this space, and you feel it when you walk in, you feel welcomed and like you belong. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about what other people are going to say or do when you walk into this space because there's just so much stuff to look at.
It's very stimulating.
It's very visually stimulating. You're not the center of attention when you walk in here. There's so much stuff to distract you. And whenever anxiety in general, whenever I go into someplace new, you don't always feel welcomed. You feel like, this is not for me, or this place is not like that at all. The second I walked in, I'm like, oh, I love this. I can get on board with this. Even when you told me about these, the reclaimed wood, she tore down this barn. Just an incredible person, Lindsay. You really freaking are. You're just an incredible person.
Well, thanks. So are you.
And just everything that you're doing. And then especially with the foster kids. I know how important that is to you. And you told me how you gave me a statistic, and that blew my mind. Will you share that?
Yeah, so Foster Love, since I have the floor, is an organization that is near and dear to my heart. The day I quit Metro, I reached out to a former teammate that I played soccer with in college, which is when I first got sick, mentally ill, and was hospitalized. And she's just been a part of my story for the last 14 years, and she just embraced me and was like, come on, let's love these kiddos together. And so my day I quit with Metro was the day I started with her. And Foster Love is a beautiful upscale boutique. Have you ever seen it?
I've never been in it. I know them. I made them stickers.
You do? Yeah, you do stuff with us. It's right around the corner. They were also part of the inspiration for the location of this place. But we provide basic needs to kids in foster care, and what that means is we provide clothes free of charge. They come. It doesn't feel like a Goodwill. You walk in and you feel important. You don't feel like a second-class citizen. We have people come in all the time wanting to buy stuff, and it's like, no, this is actually, there's a reason. And the tagline is clothed in confidence. We want these kiddos to walk out feeling like they're clothed in confidence. So that's our mission. Our gala this year was in February, and of course with galas you're always trying to pull the heart-wrenching statistics and give me your money kind of thing. The more money the better. But for real, we can do more if we have more funds. If you are a corporate sponsor out there, no, I'm just kidding.
Well,
shameless plug.
Shameless plug it away.
Shameless plug. I do grant writing too for them, so really we are always looking for ways to just help these kiddos. But
we should have them on.
Yes!
We should have our whole team on the show.
Oh my gosh, they're amazing.
Yeah.
And we are all teammates. We all played the team is all college athletes that we played together with, and then this retired mama who just completes us, and she is so funny, and she just keeps us all grounded and you kids are doing good, you're fine. But the gala, getting the statistics ready, I made a video it's on their page, Foster Love, and it just talks about how, like, at the age of 18, like, you're either homeless or you have like, they've either chosen suicide, or just the statistics are gut-wrenching. But having my own diagnosis and added diagnoses as my as my life went on from 20 to now, I probably couldn't even put them all on my 10 fingers, all the things that I have in my body, but they make me who I am, so they don't define me. They're in there, but they don't define me. And so the statistic that blew me away was that at age 13, 100% of children in foster care have a mental health diagnosis. 100%. That's not like saying 99% and then maybe that one is just lucky and doesn't have mental health to deal with. At age 13, that's not genetics saying, like, for me, it's always been, no, genetically you were just going to get it. Like, it was eventually going to flare, right? Like, I mean, I have my own trauma that flared it, but trauma, and I don't think any of us really realize how powerful trauma is to our physical health as well as our mental health, and I'm learning that this year as I'm, like, figuring out my liver is screwed up because of, I don't know, all the things, but 100%, something's wrong with that. That number needs to change, and how do we change it?
And how do you help people get through that once they have it? Because
yes.
I will tell you, like, my own journey, you know, the R word,
mm-hmm.
you know, overcoming that
mm-hmm.
is super hard.
Yep.
And, you know, mine wasn't just simple, you know, not that anybody's was, but, like, figuring out how to overcome that trauma.
And the label.
And, like, what happened, like, the viewpoint people had on what happened, and, like, overcoming the stigma around that, understanding, like, well, exactly what PTSD is, like, understanding, you know, what a mental health diagnosis is, like, understanding, like, oh, you have a disability now, like, you're autistic, like, what that means for you, and what kind of definition, and having a way to navigate that is hard. And I love that. I love that about you. You know, you are a resource for people to figure out how to navigate that. And, you know, some people are scared of therapy. Me personally, I believe if you are an adult and you are above the age of 21, everybody should be in therapy. I understand that there's, you know, sometimes stuff around that, like finances and things like that, that makes it that you can't. But legitimately, you have to find something, whether it's exercise or art or, you know, just if you're energized around people, like, not isolating yourself. I feel like that's, like, always the go-to, especially in those kind of situations. Like, 100% of those kids, like, they have to feel completely isolated. They have to feel that way. Like, me, never experienced foster care in my life, but that is mind-blowing that that's even a thing. And so for you to have an avenue that they're able to come here, that's pretty freaking awesome. Like, no, it's pretty fucking awesome. Like, we're gonna say it. Like,
yeah.
That is something that you should definitely be proud of. And on top of that, like, you are a resource and you're a trailblazer. Girl, you're a freaking trailblazer. You're a trailblazer for people who are going through, like, can I share what you're, bipolar?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, for people who have bipolar and how to get, you know, that's a heavy diagnosis. Like, when you look up hard diagnosis, you know, it's in the top 4 of ones when it comes to mental health that you have to super worry about. But seeing somebody like you who's super successful, who's working so hard to get everything that they want in life, like, that's a fantastic role model. And it's a fantastic role model that you are, I don't like the word that's going to come out of my mouth, but, like, targeting. You're not targeting them, but that you're able to work with those communities. That is, so good. So amazing. I love it. And the more reason why more people should come and support here, because, you know, they could go to a different place. I'm sure that there's, like, those corporate ran, like, painting places, but having something that is individualized for each person, like, oh, they just need to come here. But you as a person are just phenomenal, and I'm so happy that we are able to have these kind of discussions on here. And, you know, your journey, you know, even just you talking about like being hospitalized and things like that, most people don't want to talk about those things. They don't want to talk about their trauma. They think you shouldn't talk about it, that it should be something shameful. And again, that's one of the reasons I loved you so much when I first met you. I'm like, oh my God, I love this woman. Is because we were able to talk about that. We were able to talk about like trauma, like kind of casually.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I got groceries today. Oh, really? I got, I don't know.
It's like we're exchanging
PTSD.
It's like we're exchanging Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Like instead of a Pikachu, it's like, here's my PTSD. I'll meet your bipolar. Here's my autism. We'll meet this. Like, let's go for it.
You win.
You win.
I don't want to win.
Yeah. But those kind. Oh, it's fine. Those kind of things. It's just, I'm a big contender in normalizing talking about it. Right. The more that we talk about things that are hard, the easier they get. Mm-hmm. But also, the more aware people are around you about those things. And, you know, I was having a discussion with somebody the other day. I know, like, when I say I'm, like, autistic, you know, sometimes people think I'm kidding because they wouldn't believe it. But I'm like, nope. There's things about me that, you know, don't tuck my tag in ever. Like, it will ruin my whole entire week. But... Noted. Yes. Yes. It's texture. It's sensory processing things. Really loud places. No thank you. Yes. But, like, finding that out about myself and that label and, like, defining what that looked like for me it was hard. And I was having a conversation with a mom, you know, who had a child that was. And, you know, I'm like, well, you know I'm autistic, right? Like, you know, not that you have to worry or not to be worried or not to be concerned. Like, everything is valid, but, you know, I'm kind of successful. Like, I have a lot of stuff going for me. You know, if you want to ever talk about it, like, we can talk about it. Mm-hmm. Like, we can talk about this, and there's a lot of, like, bad stigmas and bad, like, viewpoints out there when it comes to mental health and when it comes to, like, disabilities that you have absolutely no control of because of your genetics. Mm-hmm. And it's hard.
Or the upbringing that you had no control over.
And, you know, the cards that were dealt, you know, it is what it is, but that doesn't mean you can't create a beautiful life or you can't create something beautiful out of something completely broken. It doesn't mean you can't do that. You can. It's harder, hell yeah, but you got to start talking about it. You got to start talking about those issues. Like, when you're sad, you got to be like, yo, I'm sad, and this is why I'm sad. What can I do about this? You know, for me, a really good therapy that I've had recently, because I'm going through the thick of lots of stuff right now, is, like, exercise.
Yeah.
And I
your
know,
traps.
My traps.
Your traps are looking good.
Oh, my God. We're going to talk about it for 5 seconds. I'm not working them out. Why are they bigger than the other muscles?
It's the way the body works. It's balanced.
Oh my God. They're the one muscle, like, I don't want to be super defined. You know, I
That's how life works.
Like, can we just move that muscle to my triceps, please? Thank you. But, you know, bringing exercise back into my life has greatly helped. And I notice, like, on the days that I don't exercise, I'm depressed, or I'm sad, or I don't want to get out of bed, which I only get 2 hours of sleep a night. So it's like, this is not. I know, I'm nuts. It's fine.
I would die.
But it's like those things, and like art, you know, I noticed, like, when I stopped writing poetry, and I really, like, poetry is a real big deal to me.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. What I've read is beautiful.
When I started doing that again, like, it was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. Like, I forgot how therapeutic that was. Or, like, drawing a picture, like, after you've completed that, it's thing. Like, for some people it's woodworking, for some people it's, but we gotta find that natural therapy that helps with your serotonin and dopamine. And sometimes it could mean, like, multiple things. Like, I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. You are very similar to that. But it's pouring yourself into those things and to help you move forward and to help you get over that trauma. And not very many people understand how to do that or have the skill set or have the comfortability to actually have a conversation with somebody about, hey, I'm in the thick of this. This is what's happening right now. I don't know what to do, without being labeled, right?
Yep.
Or,
Yeah. So I want to say I loved when you were like, anybody over 21 should do therapy.
yeah.
Because, I mean, this world is hard and messy, and let's just be honest, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody probably can use a good therapist.
Absolutely.
But I will say 2022 is far different than my first stint in my mental health world of 2009. It was still very, very taboo, and no, like the word bipolar was very negative. I mean, it's still a very negative word. Mental health in general was just like, even family was like, don't talk about it. And I'm like, why? Like, I have a voice, I need to talk about it. And now I feel like 2022, it's becoming more normalized to say, oh yeah, I went to my therapist today. Or, oh yeah, like, I feel like those words are starting to become more normalized. And so what I went through at age 20, I am now seeing friends in high school and, college, just friends from growing up, going through hard things now that I was experiencing back then that they couldn't relate to, but now I can relate to them here 14 years later. And it's so comforting to be able to say it's going to be okay. And I want to expand on that too, because in 14 years I have been put on multiple medicines. I've had to withdraw off medicines, transition to new ones, new side effects. So the medicines I'm on right now, it took a good 12 years to get to this, we call it the cocktail, that like I feel most like myself. Like I feel like Lindsay, what I think Lindsay should feel like, And that's 12 years of not feeling like that is awful. And that's, my little girl's only 7. I feel like she's been alive forever. Like, she's not even close to 12. Like, so when I look back at that journey and, like, the despair that I felt often and how alone I felt and how just even, like, saying I'm withdrawing and, like, having seizures. She's, whatever, like just...
Like it shakes.
Yeah, and, like, people talking about, like, oh, yeah, my cousin's withdrawing off cocaine. And it's just, like... These drugs are so intense and so, like, they are mind-altering drugs. And so it's not easy. So for anybody, I just like talking to you because I feel weird. I don't know where. I don't.
Look at me. Look at my eyes.
But if you or anybody has to do medication, it's okay. Our brains, there's something missing. And so medication is meant to help that. It might not be the first drug that you try. And that's really frustrating. And that's where I am also learning here 14 years later the value of a vitamin D supplement and how that actually affects my other medicines and how they work together. And you don't learn that overnight. So,
well, and you should definitely be consulting a doctor and not
and multiple doctors, because I did withdraw off of one early on in college because I was like, I don't need it, and don't do that. Always work with a doctor. But I just, 14 years, when I think about that, I'm just like, I hope I have another 60 years ahead of me. Like, 14 years in the grand scheme of things, really, like, I fought for where I'm at today. Like, I didn't just fall into having peace with saying, I have bipolar disorder. I am not bipolar, but I have that, and I have PTSD, and I have lots of other trauma and just terrible things that have happened in my life that I have to work through. And I will tell you, as a little girl, my whole life, my dad's, motto was pay it forward. And this is actually a really cool project that's going to be coming out of Scattered Wings probably by Christmas, is a pay it forward concept project. So be on the lookout for that. But just how simple, letting somebody go in front of you at the grocery store. That's paying it forward, and then who knows how that's like rippling across the world. And so I knew as a kiddo I just wanted to like smile at the person next to me or try to, like I wanted to build houses in third world countries, and I was like, maybe I'll become an architecture so I can like save the world with houses or whatever. Funny.
Right?
Yep, real estate.
I'm trying.
And but so I would say I was a very compassionate human, like my whole life. I've just never wanted to see another person suffer. But once you are in the thick of it, and once you start to feel it and experience it, it is no longer compassion, it is now empathy. And my husband and I, sorry babe if you're watching, we go back and forth on compassion and empathy all the time. He's very kind and compassionate, but he hasn't experienced what I have, and so it's hard for him to have that level of empathy with me sometimes. And I'm like, come on,
like let's get to this
empathize. But I think that's what makes it so different when people come in here, is that I don't know why you do feel that when you walk in, but it is, something's different, and I know I'm different, and I'm okay with that. And so I feel like I can connect with people very quickly, and that's because of empathy, not because of compassion. And I don't wish pain on anyone, but empathy, I just feel like I'm so thankful I have that.
Right. And I tell people about this all the time. Like, I am very much an empath.
Yes.
Like,
you are. Oh my gosh, you are. I noticed that, from a distance.
Like, I very much, like, when somebody is struggling, like, I can, like, it's like a sixth sense. It's like, just tell me what's up.
Yeah.
And sometimes just having a conversation with somebody like that, I've learned that over the years, you can't house, like, you can have that empathy, but you can't house that for other people. That's not your responsibility.
No.
So learning that, I think, was probably one of the most beneficial things for me in general, because I was such an empathetic person, which also made me easily manipulated as well, which got me into some shenanigans just in general. And learning that, you can still be empathetic and still accept those feelings for other people, but you have to release them. And sometimes you just, having that kind of thing is like powerful. It's super helpful. Like, that's why I love sitting down and having coffee with people. Sometimes that's like the only thing that they got this week that is going to help relieve them of stress. I connect with people on levels that I don't even understand. So
somebody said to me recently you're on a higher frequency. So you're just on a higher frequency.
and I'm happy to be that person for people.
Yeah.
Because I can handle it. But at the same time, you always gotta think about, like, is it affecting my mental health?
Yes.
Is it affecting my mental? No. And it doesn't for me. But for people who have that deep empathy, sometimes it can.
Yes.
Literally, somebody telling you their dog died or something like that can literally ruin your whole entire week.
Yep.
So just understanding that about yourself and, like, learning empathy in general, I think is super important. And, for young people watching, it is 100% okay to ask somebody on a dating app if they see a therapist. And it's 100% okay to ask somebody on a dating app if they take any medications. Even on the first date, it's okay to be that intense, okay?
You can also ask if they have loans from college.
Yes.
I asked my husband on our first date if he had any college debt. He's like, I did an apprenticeship. No, I don't have any college debt.
But I'm such an intense person just in general. When I get, like, when people meet me, it's like, I don't know if it's refreshing or if it's scary. I'm not sure which.
Refreshing. I'll say it.
I know I'm bluntly honest, and I know that, again, I'm a very intense person. So, like, when people talk to me, it's different than other people, and I know that.
Yeah.
I've officially realized that, Miranda, you're different, and it's okay.
It's okay.
You don't understand small talk. It's okay. You don't have to ask about the weather.
So windy.
Let's ask the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
Especially when I like sitting down with coffee with women. I try to schedule like 3 of those coffees a week just to sit down and just have like a gab fest. And sometimes that gab fest is just, talking about frustrations. Sometimes it's something silly, like whatever's going on with Love is Blind. Have I watched it? No, but cool. I'll listen.
Me either.
And I know I'm not, I know I'm not perfect, and I know I don't have the answers for everything or anything like that, but sometimes people just need a sounding board to just, and I also kind of think that that's a form of therapy as well. Mm-hmm. Like, just having people to talk to. Isolation, like, being isolated, no. Like, anybody watching right now, or anybody who sees this, like, take a step back and ask yourself, am I isolated? If you feel like you're isolated, please reach out to somebody and say, hey, what's up? And go talk to them. Because when you start to isolate yourself, that's when your mental health really does decline. And a lot of mental stuff gets worse when you isolate.
Right.
And I'm not saying you have to go out there and be a social butterfly and dance on tables or do anything crazy like that. No. But literally think about, am I isolating myself? If you're sad, like super sad or anything like that, like ask yourself, am I isolating myself? And if you feel like the answer is yes, reach out to a friend. Last December, I was completely isolated. That Christmas party, like, that was the moment. That was the moment that I realized, oh, Miranda, you're not well.
Oh, we all were fighting over you. We want her.
But that was the moment that I literally was like, okay, you need friendship. You need this. Like, this is something that you need to pursue and figure out. And I'm very thankful I did. Because had I not pursued that, I probably would not be as far as I am in my career. Like, I'm just going to be honest. Like, I would not be where I'm at if it wasn't for my support system that I have and the amazing women in the different groups that I'm a part of and that I've met over those, like, little tiny cups of coffee, those little moments. Like, man, last December was my lowest low. And going to that Christmas party was the highlight of my freaking year. And what's funny is that t-shirt I literally made 5 minutes before I left my house. The keychain and everything. I'm like, okay, what can I quick throw together that's cool? I'm like, I was working on this project and this okay. Okay, done.
I was going to bring it, but I wore it, so it was in my wash. I was really going to wear it.
And so that's kind of like, it's so crazy how the universe works. Because I needed that, and that was my eye-opener. And then, obviously, therapy. Like, going to therapy. Therapy's important. And talking with my therapist about that experience and about, like, what I needed. I'm like, hey, I did this. Like, what should I do? Like, what's something I can do to get that? Because I didn't have friends. I didn't have friends. I didn't have anybody. I was legitimately a new mom. I was also pregnant.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I made that connection.
Or was I pregnant, or did I just have Rory? I might have just had Rory. I'm not sure. Something happened.
It was big.
It was big. It was a big moment. I don't really know where in the multiverse or the timeline it sets, but no. So I was going through. No matter what I was going through postpartum, I can just tell you that now. Just because my kids are 2 under 2, but I was going through postpartum. I was completely isolated. I really just had one person in my life that was actually there kind of thing, and I didn't have friends, and I've never really had friends. If I'm being honest, I had friends and stuff, but I didn't. How some people have their core group of friends that they've known forever. Mm-hmm. I have people that have come in and out of my life, and from therapy and stuff, I realized that is kind of because of autism, because I didn't understand how those relationships function and how to sustain that. Because if somebody just didn't want to talk to me, okay, somebody doesn't want to talk to me, that's fine, cool. And I didn't reach out again. But it's a two-way street, and I didn't really understand that or comprehend that social situation. Mm-hmm. So I've always kind of been isolated. And again, that Christmas party, boom. Oh, and Rosa was like probably
She was the person who hosted.
She was.
Rosa, hey girl.
And she was the first person I ever had like just an open, honest conversation.
With what?
About trauma with, was Rosa. And I love that woman. I love that woman. Like, I love her to pieces. But going through that and understanding that isolation, and I, like, been on a journey ever since to empower other people and motivate other people to, like, get that support system. Or, like, you know, when everything happened with what's going on, you know, my husband and I are no longer together and all that stuff, like, 50 women offered their love and support for me. Like, just having that visual is insane. It was like 50 women showed up at my house. Like, you have to have that kind of support system. Does it have to be on that level? No. I just, sometimes when I do things, I do them, like, really big.
It's okay.
But you have to find that. Mm-hmm. And you can't isolate yourself. You can't, like, when you're feeling your worst, all you want to do is just crawl up in a little beanbag ball and just lay there and not do anything. You can't do that. Because if you do that, you have to get yourself out of it. You have nobody there to hold your hand and be there with you. Mm-hmm. And again, like you were saying with these chairs, we're all here to support each other. We are. And I think as humanity in general, that is our goal. Our goal is to be here for each other.
And yet we suck at it.
Right.
Why do we suck?
I don't know. Because I think everybody...
Because we're all drama. We all have drama.
But it's just so important not to isolate. Yeah. And, you know, I've had my steer of, like, isolation, depression. You know, I've known several people in and out of my life that suffered from severe depression. Some are here, some are not. Mm-hmm. And the ones that are not, you know, you just think about it like, hey, if you would have just called me, like, we could have figured it out, mm-hmm. you know? Could have figured it out.
Right.
And they didn't have that moment of, oh, shit, I don't want to do this, and stop themselves. You know, they succeeded. So those kind of things, it puts it into perspective on how important humans are to each other and how we are social. No matter how much you want to say you're an introvert, you are a part of a social species, so you gotta have some kind of support system. And young people, it is okay to ask people on the first date,
I love you.
What is your support system, and what does it look like? These are the important questions. Like, let's talk about it. So, and what I mean by this is, like, we would never have met had I not gone to that Christmas party. We would have never met had I not made the choices I made. But I'm very grateful because I feel like you are so inspiring.
Oh, well, thanks.
You are. And, like, you don't know this, but, like, I would follow your story whenever you post something. Like, you posted that really heartfelt post the other day. And, like, that moved me. You know, that I'm like, yeah, somebody has to see that. Like, I needed to hear this today. You know, no matter what it is, like, just sharing those little bits and pieces of yourself are so important, especially in a small business, too. You know, people have to know you and who you are and what you do.
Yep.
You're your brand. And this one is just cool because it just deals with mental health. And that is just one of those things that I will always be passionate about. And you've just created something so beautiful here.
Thank you. I have a couple thoughts. What were you?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was just going to share a couple of thoughts quick. A couple buzzwords that we are hearing in this generation. Self-care and boundaries.
Yes.
And isolation, I feel like people can use self-care as an excuse to isolate, where they're saying they're I'm doing self-care. I will say that in my 14 years of my journey so far, isolating has actually looked kind of different. There was a period where I was like reaching out to the whole world trying to find somebody and nobody was responding. And so I felt very, very, very lonely in those moments. And then as I got older, I got pickier and like, okay, when I say I'm struggling and that's all I need to write in a text and like that's it, the conversation we just had was a 6-hour conversation in two words, like that's a good friend. And so I will tell you that it looks different now, and boundaries are okay, and it's okay to cut people out that are toxic and that cause pain. And so anyways, I'm one of 5. My oldest brother passed away, which is a lot of pain with my trauma. And my oldest sister last year, I made a post about why I quit and how I had cut myself for the first time, and at the age of 33, like who does that? And she texted me and she was so mad. She's like, "Why didn't I know? Like, why didn't you tell me a year ago that you were struggling?" And she, as my sister, made it known it's okay to text me. And like, I felt like I was going to be too much for her. Like I was going to, dump it. And so I don't know, I made that post a couple months ago, but I've texted her a couple times at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm not okay. It's hard. And like just a couple words, and she's just like, "I'm here for you, like whatever you need, love." And so it doesn't have to be like a big story to a friend. It's just like, I need you to know my voice is still here. Like, and then another thing I feel like is a big epiphany. I just talked to my psychiatrist about it, but how powerful our words are, and when they come out of our mouth, and especially when you have a 7-year-old who hears everything that comes out of your mouth, and you don't want them to repeat you. And if you say, "I want to die," you don't want your 7-year-old to say that, so you should not yourself, like, she's probably going to repeat it if I'm saying those things. And in the last year, I have said that more times than I would ever care to admit, is that I wish I was not here. I wish I was gone. I wish I was dead. I wish this was, like, unfortunately, those words have come out of my mouth far too many times. And thank God, and I hope this speaks life into somebody who's listening. I hope these words coming out of my mouth right now speak life into the darkness and the dark places where those words come out of our soul. Is that we don't want to die. I don't want to die. I love this place. I want to see my kid tomorrow. I want her to yell at me, "I want that TV!" Like, I want to fight with her. I want all those things. So learning to rephrase it, and instead of saying, "I want to die," I'm learning to say, "I want this moment to be over." Like, I want what I'm in right now to be over, not life. Like, if that makes sense. Like, being able to just say, like, this right now sucks and I don't like it, gives me purpose to be like, but tomorrow, I want what tomorrow has. And so I just am always thinking about the power of our words. And I probably talk too much. My husband always is like, blah, blah, blah.
Nope.
He's so quiet. Everybody's like, you two are a pair. But, yeah, I'm 34, and saying I want this situation to die is far better for my sister to hear than I want to die. My sister does not want to hear me say, "I want to be done with this place." Like, let's go. Like, I can't handle any more that this world has to offer. Which I don't know if I do have anything else left to handle with what this world has to offer, but I know I have a lot to offer this world. Hey, that was good. Look at that transition.
You do. And, I've been there. I've been sitting in the same situation as you. I've wanted that stuff before. I've wanted to just, I've thought, like, I just think here it'd be easier. Mm-hmm. But, when you think about that, your loved ones, like, it's the easy road. It's the selfish way. But it's also, there's so much that can come from everybody being alive. Like, moments that you feel like that have that person. Like, try to find that person that will. Like, if you don't have somebody, you can always text me, because there is a better tomorrow. There is. Sometimes then tomorrow also sucks. But if you can find the fun stuff that isn't as bad, that will bring you joy, bring you smiles, it'll be worth it. Like, for me, when I'm having a bad day, my kids, oh my god. The best. It makes it better. Always. No matter how shitty the day is, the kids make it better.
Even if they're shitty, it still makes it better. Like,
oh, my daughter literally tipped over her yogurt and just squirted it on the floor, and I'm like, we gotta clean this up. She's like, made a mess? I'm like, yep. Can we clean it up? And she's like, yep. So she goes over to the counter where the paper towels are, and I didn't think we'd cry this hard. Otherwise, I grab tissues.
I have napkins.
She goes over to where the paper towels are, and I give her one and I hand it to her, and she tries to clean it up all by herself. Well, she's 2, okay?
Oh my gosh,
so
yes.
She can't really do that. So I'm like, oh, yep, we'll clean it up together. But because she made the mess and she wanted to clean it up, I'm like, I'm raising okay humans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm okay. Like, her little things, or like the fact that she like reads. Like, holy crap, she's 2, and it's like 2-year-old reading, so she just like memorizes the book or whatever. But it's just, those moments are just incredible. And then, there's moments that, like this, like, we've had some amazing conversations, and just me even imagining you not being here sucks. Don't fucking do that shit. That kind of thing, like, and you don't realize the type of impact you have unless we speak it out loud, or you don't realize the type of support that you have until you speak it out loud. That's why I'm always like, how can I support you? Like, what's funny is, like, with women, when I say that, it's like not a big deal, but I've said that to men a couple of times, like, in business relationships and things like that. I'm like, how can I support you today? And they're like, what do you mean? And it's the truth. Like, how can we support one another today? And sometimes I'll be the same way. I'll be like, I'm having a freaking hard day today, and I can't handle it. And I think it's important to be open and honest about that. My life the past few months has not been easy at all whatsoever. This is probably one of the hardest things I've been through, and I've been through some stuff. And just figuring out how to navigate life forward when you're in uncharted waters is hard. So it's okay. It's okay to reach out. It's okay to have a support system. It's okay to ask, how can you support me? Or, hey, can you do this for me? And 9 times out of 10, the people in our lives, they don't even know that we're struggling or that there's something going on that's difficult in our life. Oh, thanks, Rosa. You're an inspiration, Rosa.
Yes.
I'm just over here in tears. So,
we're all a little snotty.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm wearing mascara, guys. I don't know if it's waterproof or not, so we don't know. I never wear makeup, but
me either. You're welcome. We did this for you.
I've got dressed all cute today. No, but I just think that's important. Like, you're wanted. Like, you don't realize the impact you have on people because you're in the thick of it. But when you realize how impactful you actually are and how much you really matter, it's intense. Like, I 100% matter to my daughter. I 100% matter to my son. Like, my daughter has to have her dance party every night. I have to come home to that. I have to be there for that. I have friends, that love me, cherish me, and I love and cherish them. And if they were in a situation like that, like, I wouldn't want that to happen, So the same probably goes, it's probably a two-way street, especially if you're good friends.
Yeah.
And if you ever have somebody who says that that's not the case, get them out of your life. They're toxic. It's just one of those things. Like, you need to be here. Like, we need to help support each other. We need to create a beautiful life for those around us. And if you feel like you don't have purpose, which I feel like some people do, and That's the hard part, right? Is finding a purpose. Find what brings you joy. Find what matters to you. Like, how many of you ever actually sit down and like, okay, what matters to you? What do you want to do? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Like, these are weird questions to ask yourself, but have you ever really sat down and asked?
I have, yes.
Yes. But you know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing. Like, goals. Like, I feel like everybody has to have something to believe in, and everybody has to have a goal. And I think sometimes we forget about that. And sometimes people just don't have goals. And they're just like, I'm just here. But what I'll tell you is, like, once I started to have actual goals and, like, things that I could achieve and, like, check off a list, life got a lot more exciting. Like, I want to have 18 investment properties by the time I'm 35.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Is that a little extra? Maybe. Will it happen? We'll find out. I hope so. Manifest that shit.
Yes.
And just having the positive people in your life. Like, I can name, like, 60 people that have a positive impact on my life, if not more, that I enjoy being around, that energize me, that inspire me, that make me want to be a better human, and I feel like it's important to find that and to exercise that part of your, like, social brain, if that makes sense. It's so important. It's so important to care about people. It's so important to just, like, love and appreciate those around you and support them. So I'm very happy you're here.
Well, I'm very happy I am too.
Good. That's good to hear. And we are going to have any questions before we sign off or have our final thoughts kind of situation going on. If there are questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. We'll try to answer them best we can. If you're on TikTok, it's really far away, but I think I might be able to read them if you have any questions. Tour. Okay, we can do a tour.
Oh, of the space.
Of the space.
Yes.
I was going to do a reel. So, do you want to take that and give a tour?
Sure. So I just, like...
Yeah, you just lift it up. Okay. So, here you go. Here's the tour of the space.
This is my face. Rhymes with space. Okay, what do I do?
I'll grab both of them because you need to talk.
Okay.
Okay, so let's
start from the front door.
Start from the front door.
All right. You walk in, and my blinds are white canvas. Somebody donated them. They showed up and put them in. I didn't ask for them, and we're going to make art on them. So they are canvas to be drawn on. Everything can be drawn on, painted on. I don't care if you spill. I grew up in a home where everything had to be perfect and cleaned, and this is a space where you get to just not have to worry about that. So Miranda mentioned the front room also was a barn. I got to help tear down. The gentleman whose barn it was, the wood was all sitting on my cement floor over there. He just asked to see the space, and he brought his work truck unannounced, like, to me, and he just started putting this stuff on the wall. So again, another very just generous labor of I didn't ask for it, and somebody gave it to me. This front room also is more my work. So these shelves, if you look real close, they are actually old trees, like parts of trees. This is all stuff that I have created on either a laser, a plasma cutter, ultraviolet printer, Cricut. I love all the big machines. Those are things I teach, and I can show you how to do that. And all of it's recycled material. So everything up there was going to be thrown away. So that's like my wall of what you can do. That's just an example. This is a table that's recycled. It was a door. It's on top of a dresser. Everything's like really unique. That used to be a headboard. It's now a bench. And then the back room, we talked about the tables, the chairs. Everything can be broken down on purpose. Like we did yoga in here one time. It was really fun. But like time to innovate, I cut that out of cardboard and just spray painted it, and it looks really pretty and cool, and it was free. I talked about hope. I'm going to come back to this wall. I'm going to end with this wall. I talked about hope and what that means to me. Again, chalk that you can spray paint. Sustainability is huge to me as well. Talked about that. So that's all cardboard and recycled metal. And then this wall. This wall has been in my head since high school. So I have just dreamt of a book wall where it's all the old pages, like the discolored pages. But then when you put stuff on it, it comes to life. So that's actually like black pig insulation. And so you can pin in it. There's magnets. And it's all about writing your own story. And when you come here, I don't want to tell anybody what they're going to do unless they ask me to come up with a structured class. Then I will do a structured class. But if you just want to come in here and innovate, I like to say that things are limitless. And good old Tracy Conroy got your bracelets right here. But limitless is one of my favorite words. There are no limits to our creativity and to where our brain can go. I'm just in awe of what people come up with when they're in here. And I don't want to tell them to paint a penguin because I get a lot cooler things. And so write your own story. When we just want to tie this all back to mental health, I could have chosen a different story when I was 20 and when I walked out of the hospital for the first time and into a world where a week had gone on without me, but it still happened. And so now I was re-entering into a world of now, how do I want to be a part of this? And so for me, it's just very important to remind people that they can make choices. It might be little ones day by day to write their own story. Nobody tells you how to live your life. Nobody tells you how to write your own story. And my little girl actually took it a step farther recently and made a sign that said, plant your own story, and the importance of planting your roots deep so that when the storms come. It was really cute. I'm like, you're 7 and really deep. So that's that wall. And then this is the hidden wall is my world map. It's a chalkboard wall. You can also color on it. It says, be the change, because we can all do something to change somebody's life. So that's this space. Any questions on it? It's kind of a lot, but these are the paint. We just leave the tablecloths. That's what other classes have done. Yeah, that's this back room.
Woo! I look very interesting. Okay. Boom. Any other questions before we say adios?
Oh, she's so sweet.
I love Rosa. She's the best. Well,
mujer.
if that...
Mejor. Lo siento.
I can't speak Spanish, so good job. But if we don't have any questions, I'm going to end this by saying thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
And letting me into your space, your safe space. I really much appreciate it. And
Anytime.
I am so happy that you came on the show. And I love you.
Aww.
And I'm happy you're here.
I'm happy you're here.
Good. And I just want everybody to know how much it would mean to me if you would check out her website and take a peek. I will, after this, I'll put her on my link tree up at the top so you can see it. I know she's in the Rolodex of businesses, but I'll make it easier for you guys to see so you can come check this out and look at foster love and all those things. And if you are struggling with mental health, this is a safe space. So just show up, do some art, reach out, send a message.
Or write poetry and poke it on the wall. It can be any form of creativity. Yeah.
Well, I'll have to write some, and you can have a whole poetry section.
Yes.
I've been writing a lot more than I normally have, so
I'd love to read it.
I need to post more in that teal thing, but I forget. But without further ado, thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for viewing. Have a good day, guys.
Adios.
We'll do this one first.